What up, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and check out my website below, paradxastrology. I'm a professional astrologer. I can help you with anything. So I wanted to talk about the Daoist Sorcery, and because the Tao has been really commercialized in Western society, and so a lot of these books have been put out in order to kind of show us what it really is, like what the deeper occult meaning is of the Tao and of Taoism and what is possible, because with these certain techniques it's possible to harness and open up your chakras in your body. Every culture has their own way of doing this, and this is just the Chinese method of doing it. So this is like Chinese mysticism and sorcery, and it's really important to understand this because this is what's going on in secret societies today at the very top. Okay, so there's a difference between what you see and what's told in the mainstream and what's told in like even conspiracy theorists and what actually is. And secret societies are hidden. There's a lot of them that are hidden, and this happens in Chinese secret societies, but it also in many secret societies in the West. And it's important to understand this, that this is something that you can open up your whole body. I'm not telling you to become a sorcerer or anything like that. This is just an extreme version of what the body can do. So this book is by Professor Jerry Allen Johnson. He's PhD DTCM, and he is like an 80th generation disciple and Taoist priest, and 66th generation disciple and Taoist priest. So he talks about how, I'm just going to quote what he says. I'm going to read this passage right. He says, "Many years ago, I began studying Shaolin and later Wudang martial arts. My Chinese instructors would tell me various amazing stories about the energetic realms of combat. These stories were used both to inspire me and to caution me should I ever cross arms with another martial artist who has both a fighter and a sorcerer who used black magic in combat. My teachers would always comment that many of these stories were their personal experiences, and that it was important for me to have my own experiences in order to confirm and validate the truth of these stories. Though through the years that my study of esoteric Taoist martial arts, medicine, and magic has not only confirmed the truth of my teacher's stories, but has introduced me to several different systems of Chinese and non-Chinese mysticism and sorcery. My Chinese teachers explained to me that when you are first introduced to another sorcerer or different systems of magic, the standard rule is not to take anything the person says at face value. It's extremely important you analyze it, understand, experiment, and then create your own magical experiences. That's why I think it's very important to study all different ways of magic, and then you kind of figure out what you want to do. That's what I always do. And to look at the ancient ways, because magic, even if you look at magic today, like in the West, it's just kind of like a joke. You know, it's not really, they kind of lost a lot of parts of real magic. Then they explained that these people who are the Daoist sorcerers, they're able to do incredible things. One of these things they were talking about, there was a man such, and he was able to fly and shapeshift, and with a smile on his face he can transform into a woman or cause her face to become wrinkled as he would suddenly transform into an old man. He can then bend his knees and immediately transform into a little child. If he holds a stick in his hand, he could turn it into a tree. If he chooses the stick to transform into a plant, it can suddenly become full of melons or fruits, ripe and immediately edible. If he draws a line on the ground, it can magically become a river. If he piled up the soil, it could become transformed into a mountain. Wherever he sits, delicious fruits of various kinds would appear in front of him if he desires. He possesses the freedom to do whatever he wants, such as gathering and arousing clouds or controlling fire." And that's another thing with the Taoists teach, is how to control the weather. And that is definitely something I know I've seen people do. And I had a teacher that could control the weather, and he used to make a lot of YouTube videos of him actually doing this. He would demonstrate it all the time. One time I went to go see him, and he performed this energy kind of ritual on me, and I felt like a completely different, I felt it like opened up my kundalini energy, and he told me, "You're like me." So that's what got me into this. But that's something, it is powerful, and you can transform the weather. And they speak of it here in these books. He talks about how you can do this, but you have to practice, and everything is visualization. So it comes from being able to visualize. And then there's certain herbs, like these people can actually walk through walls. They have invisibility. Invisibility has to do with different herbs, though. You can become invisible with herbs, and then you also have a sigil with you. There's certain sigils. So the other things that they can do is instant teleportation, transmutation of magic, contacting the land, construction of a river, like I was saying with the line on the ground. There's also also, yeah, shape-shifting, invisibility, seeing spirits, having visions, dream magic, weather magic, astrology, feng shui, etc. So all these things is what they teach you in the Taoist methods. And that's why I wanted to make that clear. And they're able to contact the immortals, because once you contact the immortals and you have that relationship, then you're able to do these things like build mountains and rivers like that, change the weather, because there's an immortal that's in control of that. So once you have these relationships, they grant you certain powers. So that's the deep part of it. And it's using your energy, knowing the difference between your different kinds of energy. For them, they use the words Jing, Qi, Shang. Jin is matter, and then energy is Qi, and then spirit is Shang. And so when you understand each of those, then you're able to do magic transformations. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's well known that these are the people running the world that are sorcerers. And this is what's taught at the top secret societies, that people don't even realize this is real. Like most people even listening to this probably thinks this is like not even real. But once you start working with magic, you're going to realize it's real. Once you start working with your energy, you're not going to question this anymore. Like, experiment for yourself, start meditating, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I've experienced these things, so that's how I know they're real. And anyways, that's just a little part. If you want to hear more about this, let me know in the comments, because I'm going to start talking about how you can actually do these things, how you can walk through walls, how you can stop time. That's another thing. Lots of different things. Anyways, I love y'all, and re-up, motherfucker. All right, easy.